y'all. Before you get into the video, just know the first like 9 minutes or so are kind of scratchy. I forgot my Bluetooth speaker. That wasn't my mic, wasn't on, so it's kind of scratchy. So feel free to forward through it. All right.
Hey y'all. I'm sorry, but this has got to be one of the. This was a good episode, but this has to be one of the funniest episodes I have ever seen before in my life. And I usually, like, I might laugh a little bit, but this just got so crazy that I just could not help myself. I laughed, I had tears coming out of my eyes. Like, I had to pause it on the DVR or whatever thing because it just got so stupid. Anyways, this is another review for Love After Lockup, Gangsta Prince Charming, Season 6, Episode 5. Well, I don't know what I just watched, but nevertheless, if you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so who should we start with? Let's start with JK and Brooke. Sorry, I'm fixing my light. No. Here we go. All right, sorry. Okay, we'll start with JK and Brooke. First of all, JK's name might as well stand for just kidding, because his whole life is a goddamn joke. Let's hurry up and get them over with. Okay, so Brooke is chicken shit. Okay, walking over to the parole office and too scared to ask what's going on and why it's taking her so long. Brooke, you are dumb. Like, are you for real? Do you have warrants or something yourself? Is that what's keeping you from going in there? Because you look dumb as hell. I just do not understand why these people don't go shopping or go get something to eat. Make him wait in the meantime. If he's not done in time for you. Like, I don't understand. Why do y'all do that? It's dumb. Anyway, because he's not being considerate of your time. So he has a little bit more time out to be than expected. Like, in terms of maybe like an extra hour or so than they anticipated. So JK was trying to explain how he missed his Mimi, his grandmother. So he was mature about it. He explained that he knows Brooke needs his time. He was saying this to Brooke directly, but he doesn't want to look up and not have spent time with his grandmother. I totally get that, especially after losing his grandfather and not being there. And I'm sure there's a level of guilt, certainly in terms of like prison and what he could have been doing, that kind of thing. So Brooke is mad that he doesn't invite her to come in. I'm not gonna lie, I get it, and I would have felt away, especially in Texas, because once I was reminded it was in Texas and she was in that trailer, I said, you know, it's hot as hell outside. And when it's hot as hell, like where it's just grassy plains like that, and you're not near enough trees, it gets especially hot, and that breeze don't do nothing. Anyway, I understood both sides. Because he did need to see his grandmother privately. And that can be a lot on an old person if you don't know them. But I think it's more because he already knew what his grandmother was going to say about Brooke. Now, Brooke was complaining that she waited for 3 hours outside the parole office. By the way, Brooke, that was a choice. You had a whole vehicle. Y'all did not take the bus. You weren't waiting for public transportation. That was a choice. Okay? You didn't go inside and ask. I don't understand why his mother can't drive any place. Why his stepfather can't drive him any place. Why his best friend that you live with can't drive him any place. But that's on you, okay? And you didn't go inside and ask about nothing. So he has the phone. He can text you when he's ready. Don't sit outside waiting for him, wasting all your gas on air conditioning and stuff. Anyway, so she was like, what does he have to tell his grandmother that he can't say in front of me? I was like talking about you and talking about Alex. But then again, she also doesn't know you. But at the same time, that is what he had to say. That's what I think. All right, so she called her mom to complain about how JK has her sitting outside as she waited for him for hours or whatever. Did y'all notice her sitting outside the parole office? Her wait time went from 3 hours previously when she was talking to us to when she called her mother talking about 4 hours. Brooke, you're giving the kind of person that embellishes. All right, we already don't trust you. Anyway, so yeah, so grandma meets Brooke and she said she doesn't mean to, but unconsciously she reads them. I was like, everybody does that, ma'am. When you meet somebody, you are doing that. She said she doesn't feel like she can trust her. And I was just like, just say you like Alex, okay? And honestly, I believe his best friend and Alex talked to his grandma. I'm sure they had planted things in her head. I'm sure the mama has planted things in her head. And she looked just like that grandma. And it's just like, I don't know what to tell you, Brooke. All right. His cousin popped up at grandma's. He was in jail too. I said, Lord have mercy. Okay. Anyway, he said he was in jail for some bullshit, but he was in there for 10 years. What you and you white? What did you do? Y'all don't get sentences like that for no reason. Anyway, so JK asked to borrow his cousin's phone to call Alex, right? Now, mind you, Brooke is like several feet away. And make sure she doesn't plan to show up at his party. First of all, he is telling Alex, when he calls her from his cousin's phone, once again, another example of people will do whatever the fuck they want to do. Okay? He is telling Alex that he's having a party, but he doesn't want her to come because he don't want all that drama. I was like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's why she knows that you're having a party. Y'all don't have any kids together. You don't have any kids. So this isn't even like Joella and Deodric. This isn't even the same thing. So why does she know? Exactly. He doesn't care that she cheated. He just feels like he was mad about it. He told too many people in his family. And I think he's embarrassed. Okay? To appear like he's running back to her. He still want to be with her. Yes, he does. He don't care. She was talking about she gave him money and checked on his family. She did everything she was supposed to do. And then she cheated. Like, first of all, you're in jail. As far as I'm concerned, it don't count. It doesn't count. It does not count, sir. It doesn't count. You cheated her at a time with you when you went to jail. So don't pull it. Don't pull it. She got needs too. So the cousin said this whole situation is going to be messy. I agree. This will not, this will not turn out well. And it didn't take long. I think he was more right than he expected to be so quickly. And then he says he didn't like Alex because she slept around on his cousin. And I'm like, he was in jail. I want y'all to quit acting like your cousin is up here having Brooke as his girlfriend, but still calling Alex. But y'all trying to act like y'all so moral. I can't stand the way men have these double standards. Anyway, so Brooke thought it was 5 p.m. and it was actually 6 p.m. I think somewhere in her mind, she lost track of time, or either her clock in her car is wrong, whatever. She was mad as fuck. She said he's supposed to be committed to her and her kids. You haven't seen the boys, we need to go see the boys. And he was like, okay, well, make something up. Tell him, I mean, you're trying to basically send me back to prison if I don't get home. She was like, well, you don't disappoint them. You can't just do that. He was like, just call them and tell them something came up. First of all, no. She should not do that. And she shouldn't be disappointing her kids. And honestly, I think she's been away from them a bit too long for you. Okay? Now, granted, you do have to be back. But my thing is, why didn't you stay your ass on the Great Plains by that trailer and have your cousin take you back? Because he got a car. He has a car. And honestly, I think you okay with starting the argument because you're really thinking about Alex. That's just me. Brooke, he's not committed to you or anybody or anything. That's the kind of person he is. He should have asked his cousin to take him anyway. Okay, she's been away from her kids for a night and a day. Having a man out of jail is like having another child. You got to do everything for him. He can't do anything for himself except for your kids you've raised, so you know what they know and know what they don't. In jail, you don't know what they've been learning, everything else. He calls her, they get into it, he calls her a stupid ass bitch and slams the car door. First of all, you ain't got no time to call me out of my name. Because once you call me out of my name, I don't know what the fuck else you willing to do. I don't tolerate that. Men can't call me out of my name. That'll be the last time you ever see me in any capacity. Okay? And I'd be goddamn if you slam my fucking car door too. Which is what you did. Now walk your ass back in the heat. The heat that I sat in for 2 hours or however long it was. Alright, Savannah and Bradley, y'all know I don't care. I don't review them. I can't stand them. Joey and Michael. Joey is the kind of person that...
Hey, sorry, y'all. It was my Bluetooth was on. I realized it or whatever. So disclaimer, just stay with me. So Joey and Michael. Joey is the kind of person that no matter what, he will find something to worry about, okay? Like my anxiety, okay? The difference is, see, I deal with my anxiety in silence, okay? And by, talking to a psychoanalyst. But my thing is, I don't bleed it all over other people who don't have anything to do with it. One of my many charms. See, you don't have that charm, Joey, so it's annoying, and you're always crying. You cry a lot, okay? I'm sorry. I totally understand why Michael is annoyed. Okay, when he said you have been flirting with an emotional meltdown all day, he didn't say it to him, but he said it to us. And I was like, that is a great way to explain what is happening. Anyway, so Joey's always crying because he knows this relationship is no good for him. Michael ran like a little boy to see his mother, and they both started crying. I'm not gonna lie, that got me emotional. I felt that. I felt for him. I felt for his mother more so. So he talks about how his mom worked hard to give them everything. She always treated people right. He never saw her cross anybody. And he just started crying and said, people like me don't deserve angels like that. You could tell he has guilt for the pain he's caused his mother. And he said I forgot what he said. It was the first thing he said, but he says he doesn't say that anymore. But it doesn't matter. And she treated no. That's not what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. He has a lot of guilt. But also, like a lot of men, they know that what they're doing is wrong to the women in their life, including their mother. But the acknowledgement of it, they'll say it. But it never seems to be enough for them to actually change their behavior. And that has always confused me. And this is across racial lines, across class lines. There's something wrong. I don't know. So his mama makes him call a PO in front of her and tell him he plans to stay somewhere else because she's trying to keep him out of jail. Don't nobody care less about Michael going back to jail than Michael. Anyway, and she makes him put it on a speakerphone because she don't trust him. Anyway, so his mom was in his ass. She didn't want any of that. I'm going to do my best. No, you're just going to do it. All right. So Joey is saying that he's told Michael his deal breakers. If he uses, he's done with him, this, that, and the other. No, Joey, you aren't. You will try to fix him. You're that kind. And that's why y'all have no business being together. Y'all don't. You and Michael are not the same. And I know Michael, because Michael, I'm looking at this as a straight woman going, yeah, I could definitely see how all the boys come to the yard over Michael. And Joey, this may be the hottest person you've ever been with. So as a result, you want to hold on to it, but you getting on our fucking nerves. All right. So, but smooth talking, Mikey manages to get approved for a night in the hotel. He said he's going to sneak over to the halfway house so he doesn't get penalties for not checking in with them. Joey is telling us how emotionally drained he is. He's laying on the bed still crying. I'm like, damn, Joey, you are becoming harder and harder to watch. You are already kind of difficult to watch the first time, but I still felt for you because we were getting your story. But compared to Michael, I mean, if we had to choose one or the other for the sake of our entertainment, I would choose Michael every time. Anyway, so I think Michael is a different kind of person. All right, quite frankly, I think they're unequally yoked. Okay? He's a free spirit. He doesn't care. And Michael was basically like, Joey loves me in a different way than I love him. He said, I don't think he wants to leave me. Unfortunately, he was like, I prefer if he did. Like, I think he feels bad for hurting his feelings, and he would be let off the hook, which is what a lot of men do. Let off the hook if Joey walked out on him. Joey likes to have things to worry about. And until he finds a new boyfriend, Michael, Michael don't even care if he goes back to jail. All right. So we got that over with. Okay. So, gosh, I hate to do them, but I might as well get through it. It's another dumb two. Dummies. Courtney and Will. This is so weird. This is just weird. So, this is going to be mean, but Courtney and Will are both ugly. Now, see, they are equally yoked in the looks department. Nevertheless, but that's about the only thing they have in common. He's giving her these weird, awkward compliments like, oh, the way you say cute is adorable to me. What? I'm grown. I am grown. Don't talk to me like that. She was a troubled child. We can tell she's a troubled adult. All right. She said some stuff she hasn't told her mom, including not having taken care of her warrants in Washington State for Grand Theft Auto. That's a pretty big thing to leave out, Courtney. on the same day you get out of jail. She was up there trying to tell us, oh, she was hoping it would go away and stuff like that. Anyway, okay. And she was like, well, I may be arrested today when I go in. And she said that is why she's not paroling to her mom's house. And I guess maybe she didn't want to put her mother in the line of fire. She said she didn't tell her mom because her mom worries more than she listens. I said, no, bitch, you give her reason to worry. Okay. So mom asked Will, she was like, did you know about this? And he was like, yeah, I just didn't think it was my business to tell. That's one way to do it. Yeah. But he also didn't realize there was a possibility that she could be arrested in that moment. That's also something she didn't tell you. Because Courtney is the kind that she will lie and do anything she can to get away with it just for a thrill. So what I can give Will is, unlike other people who go to the parole office and sit in a fucking car, him and the mama took a walk and doing something besides sitting in the car. There was coffee shops. I was like, thank goodness. Why is everybody else so slow with that? And they have cars. I don't want to hear about, oh, the parole office is way away. Yeah, you got a car though. You all right. Anyway, nothing happened with the warrants for Grand Theft Auto. I said, oh, must be nice. They are not extraditable. So she just won't go to Washington. You know, she'll take care of them on her own. But they're not going to lock her up today for it. So she is screaming that she wants pizza and penis and a nap. And Will goes like, your mom is right there. Y'all are not the same. Her mom is right there. She's already disrespectful. She was like, I just need my mom to back off. She's already been here, you know, up under us. And I'm like, they took the same fucking car. Where is your mama supposed to go? You didn't tell her about your AA sponsor. What happened to him? Did he leave? I mean, like, this, like, that's what I mean. This is just weird to me. So she said her mother needs to kick rocks a little bit. The way white kids talk to their mother is just always been strange to me. It just is not something I am able to understand culturally. Anyway, so Will took her to the biggest Christmas tree he's ever seen or whatever. And she said, we can do it tomorrow. She wants to get washed up and cleaned up. And then the mom intervened and said, she wants to get washed up and cleaned up. And I get it. And that's when I felt like, Mom, look, you should have rented your own car or something. Because stay out of it. I knew he was about to propose. He asked her to marry him. That could have waited, honestly, because it was raining. She says yes. She's so stupid, and so is he. She's looking for an insurance plan, and she got it. She'll be screwing somebody else and others before it's over. Okay, her mom knows she's not ready, but she doesn't have time to talk to her, which I'm sure is what Courtney wants, for her not to talk to her. The producer asked her if Will is the man, asked Courtney if Will is the man she sees herself with for the rest of her life. And she says she doesn't know. Now, mind you, she said yes. She was like, we'll see. The answer is no. She'll have him caught up in legal trouble in no time. Okay? Yeah. All right. So let's get to the good stuff. Okay. Let's get to the good stuff. Okay. Who do I want? Let's do Deodric and Kiana. Should we do them? All right. Kiana and Deodric. I love how I act like I'm talking to y'all in real time, because this episode just had me laughing. I could not stop laughing at Ashley, Julian, and Alexis. All right. So, okay. This was another messy one too, though. Deodric and Kiana. Okay, so his father was having a barbecue. Okay, the same father that was sitting in his lazy boy when Kiana came over to get his clothes because none of his family gave a damn enough to go and get you, Deodric. I'm sorry, that whole family is a red flag to me. They a red flag, and they continue to be red flags. So she's picking him up from the halfway house, says she's nervous about his release because last time she was waiting and they kept him. Once again, that was your dumb ass fault, just like Brooke. Okay, so Kiana, let him go. Because let me tell you something. Every time we see this camera roll, you look dumber and dumber and dumber. And I just think you a little naive. I'm so tired of seeing these pretty, well put together black girls waiting for these pieces of shit. And I know the pickings are slim amongst black men, but let me tell you something. This ain't worth it. Okay? He has 6 kids. People who are married for 30 or 40 years don't have 6 children. He's irresponsible by 3 different women. Okay? Baby girl, you are going to have to get used to dealing with these other women, unfortunately, because these kids ain't going nowhere. All right, so she's still tripping on the sister being friends with Juela. I don't want to hear nothing else about this. I'm sure they are friends. She also has 3 of his nephews. If she wants to have a relationship with them, she has to be nice to her. She probably does like her as a friend, but she's not going to. You don't even have a child with him, girl. Escape while you can. All right, anyway. People don't always want to lose those relationships. So Juela does post about him. And they show us the screenshots again. And that's telling. Both of y'all are fighting, Juela and Kiana. Y'all fighting over someone who is not worth it. Let Juela have him, Kiana. And please don't do the hood thing of trying to have a baby by him and trying to force a family and then try to ice everybody out. It never works. He already has 3 kids with her. If she wants to let him cheat and all this other stuff, let her let him. Okay? I promise you don't realize it, but you can do better. All right, I am always astonished, though, that so many men have a driver's license access once they get out of jail. Deodric did. Remember Troy? Now, y'all told me last week that Troy and Zaria, y'all were like, oh, no, they broke up. No, she's pregnant. That baby is due in August. Troy, I want it better for you, but you don't want better for yourself. So this is going to be a catastrophe. And once again, that's what I mean. That hood instinct. I don't care if she's married to him or not. She wanted to get back at that other chick. Who was like drawing lines with her. Because Zaria's crazy. And, okay, girl. Okay. I don't think she is mentally sound enough to have anybody's child. But that's just me. Okay? I'm not saying that she raising her wrong. I'm just saying it's a good thing her parents are involved. Next. Okay. So he drove Kiana's car to the barbecue. I would not want somebody who just got out of jail to be driving my car. I'm sorry. Don't y'all think that's going to attract the wrong kind of attention? Anyway, was it me? But all the love he got when he showed up at that barbecue, and I know there's people going to be mad at me, but it reminded me of that Chris Rock joke from like 25 years ago when he talks about how black people give somebody out of jail all the love in the world. But if you graduate from school, you go to college, get your master's, your family will ignore that shit. And when I say me and my siblings have definitely experienced that, that's just what it reminded me of. That's all. So his father went to prison too. So much for that, having your father in your life always leads to somehow these collective wholesome outcomes. Sometimes the father in your life can set a bad example, and maybe it's not the person who needs to be around the son all the time. How about that? So I kind of liked the stepmother at first. She was trying to be fair and give her a heads up. Kiana, she said, look, Juela stopped by the house yesterday. I just want to let you know. I know she is mad about that. Kiana, I know you're mad about that, but girl, she has 3 kids with this man. 3. I don't doubt Juela is on some bullshit, but you can't trip too hard with a man that already has 6 kids if you're going to stay with him. Because what we're not going to do is act like Juela is just the baby mama. He has 3 other babies, mothers, and children. Like, even the way they've done the storyline makes it appear like these are the only 2. No, he has 6 kids. I haven't forgotten. And Kiana, you need to remember. Anyway, so she tried to give her a heads up, whatever. Also, he invited his baby mama. He didn't give her no heads up or nothing. He invited her. He wanted her there to the cookout and didn't tell her and is hoping everything will turn out okay. Negro, you know it won't. You know it won't. That's why you didn't tell her. Also, how come the other baby mamas weren't invited? If it's a family thing, I have questions. Are those the only 3 you claim because they're from the same woman? Because I don't know how to feel about this at all. I have a hard time believing you have contacted these other 3 mothers. So he doesn't have to work for either one of them. They have made that clear. They are willing to fight for his attention. He is nobody to fight over. He's a jailbird who just got out, has no place to live, has no job, of any significance. He can't take care of anybody. He has 6 kids. Even if he had never gone to jail and was working, he'd still lack income. And he's sexually irresponsible by having all these kids. He was never married to any of these women. Like, what the fuck? Why are y'all fighting for him? He's a good for nothing. Anyway, so Joella pulls up to the cookout. And Joella is a pretty girl. Okay? And the father who's on the grill is like, oh, who's that? Uh-oh, baby mama's here. His whole family is messy. They are. They like that chaotic shit. I knew something was wrong with them when that father was sitting his lazy ass in that lazy boy and was basically like, yeah, that's my son's stuff right there in the garage. Y'all can do what you got to do. Like, that to me did not sit well. That you were okay with another man going with his daughter who's not married to your son to go and pick up your son. You didn't give a fuck. Okay? Something wrong with that family. I'm telling y'all. So this is a good example, once again, of how having a father in your life does not lead to strong, healthy outcomes. He's a trifling bitch himself. All right? He didn't even go pick his ass up. Something about that just always rubbed me wrong. So Joella brought 2 of the 3 boys. Kyrie is apparently the youngest. He said in the confessional, he hopes that she didn't try not to bring him to manipulate him. I said, she brought 2 of the 3. Kyrie, she was like, he's been with my mama. He's been with my mama. He was like 2 months when he went to jail. So that's why I don't get why Kiana is tripping. He got another woman pregnant for the 3rd time. 2, which means he had already committed the crime. You know, it probably took a while. And you up here fighting for him? He was having unprotected sex with her. So I'm just sitting up here like, y'all need to slow down. Okay? I'm sure she has her reasons. But if you weren't in jail, this wouldn't be an issue, would it? All right, so these fathers act like uncles. Deodric is one of those people that acts like an uncle. You know how your uncle is like the person you can talk to, chill with, and he'll keep secrets, right? It's a little different from an auntie, right? But give you life advice. You may not see him all the time, but he's here for you in, situations. That's how a lot of these black fathers want to be. They want to be the uncle instead of the father. Okay? And because being a father means every single day taking care of your kids. And Deodric is giving that, because I want them to quit acting like she must be doing something out of spite. She's been taking care of these kids while you've been gone to jail all this time. And I ain't seen you yet hand her some money. Anyway, so Kiana's friend comes, and the father says, oh, you cute. You're cuter than her. Yo, D, how come you didn't pick this one? Yes, sir, you were doing too much. And if I was Kiana, I'd be pissed too. The friend looked like she felt uncomfortable. Like, I just came here for support. But his family is messy. So Kiana, Deodric, they went over there, gave her a hug, and you were watching, she was watching from a few feet away and said, oh, we're going to have a problem. I mean, why are you touching my man? He went up to her. Therein lies the problem. She was also, make no mistake about it, invited, while the other 3 baby mamas were not, which is also telling to me that he's one of those people who picks and chooses when he takes care of his kids. Darling, that's a character problem. It's a character problem. And you need to learn how to be smarter and more efficient, okay, in the way you pick men. We trying to give you a chance. Don't be stupid. We done already seen you flashing that ring in the preview. Is it taking a break? Is this like later on in the season? Are they taking a break or something? Anyway. So Kiana, Deodric went over there and gave her a hug and, all of that. His stepmom was fussing at Joella like, how come you didn't bring Kyrie? She was like, he's been with my mother. She kept giving her the same answer. And I was also like, Joella handles it well. Like I told you last week, I felt like she is a lot more chill than I expected. Like she's very calm. I feel like the stepmom was talking to her a bit crazy. I didn't like that. Those are her children. Fussing at her for not bringing the third one. Oh, he's their father too. Well, he should have acted like a fucking father and stayed the fuck out of trouble. Because clearly he had opportunities. Clearly he was in college. And fucked up over some bullshit. So don't try to act like, oh, this is all on Joella. I don't like that at all. All right? And Joella, honestly, y'all, is really in love with him. Okay? I know what that looks like. They did her interview on the street, and she looked like she wanted to burst into tears. saying she wanted them to be a family again, this, that, and the other. But Joella, I'll give you the same warning. Yes, honey, you have 3 kids with him. You have the most. You are the hostess with the mostest when it comes to this sorry motherfucker and his kids. But my thing is, ma'am, he still has 3 other children by 3 other women. Is this really the life you want? And you're a very pretty young woman. You can find somebody else. He is not worth it. Ugh, this is so gross. Why do they want to sleep with him? Anyway, I'm glad he finally did his hair. He still ain't cute to me, but oh well. So Kiana, let it go. Let him play her Joella over and over, because she clearly will let him do it. He has 6 kids and she has 3 of them. 6 kids. 6. Girl, stop playing with me. I'm sorry. Joella seems very chill, and I feel like they know that. And that's why his family goes hard on her. Because I thought the stepmom was cool, but I did not like the way she was talking to her. And that's not y'all's place. Let Deodric tell her that. So Kiana and her friends start to leave because, she's getting pissed about this hug. He's already been cussing about, oh, she's getting on my nerves with this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. But he going around telling his messy ass family, knowing they gonna start some shit. So he follows her down the street. His cousin, Keith, was telling Kiana not to leave because Joella will be with him by herself, this, that, and the other. I was like, that's messy as hell. Okay, but the cousin is messy because she also, Kiana keeps telling her, no, I don't want any more to drink. This bitch done had a little thing of liquor, keeps trying to pour it in her cup. She wanted to get started. Just like the sister laughing in her interview. They wanted to get started. And she's walking down the street trying to pour in her cup. They all want them to fall out for entertainment. And that is annoying, okay? That was a mess. He was like, well, can I talk to you? No, he worried about his ride back to your house. That's what he's worried about. Let all them messy motherfuckers who didn't come pick him up for jail, let them take him home. Or better yet, let him stay there. They won't. That's how you know it's a mess. All right. The main event. Here we go. All right. So Ashley, Julian, and Alexis. Y'all, I'm sorry. This had me. I couldn't believe how hard I was laughing. Because usually I'd be like, this is some fucking pathetic shit. But this was funny to me. Okay. So I appreciate the timelines on this show. Did y'all peep how Julian had only been out of prison for 1 day? 1? And all this shit is happening. So now he's at a hotel. He's at the hotel. And he knows how to call an Uber, which is interesting to me. Let's see. I think Uber started to be a thing around 2012, 2013-ish. It really hasn't been around long. Because it was like, once I was in graduate school, Uber had started. So it was after I graduated from college. They would have made so much money if Uber would have been in the AUC. But I guess it is now. So anyway, we had to figure it out. We had to take that old sorry-ass MARTA train. Now I get why New York kids were complaining about the train. It wasn't a real one to them. Anyway, so I was like, whose card is the Uber connected to? This is like, Alexis, how can you not know this at this point? That's why I feel like you're acting stupid. I know you heard him on speakerphone twice on the porch. Anyway, he shows up to the hotel to see Ashley. Ashley changing faces. I'm sorry. This woman is full of deceit. Okay? Anybody who can change their look, and everybody changes their hair and stuff like that. That's one thing. For us to not be able to recognize you physically over and over again, just on camera, alone, in these few scenes, I'm sorry. Something's wrong with you. Like, really wrong. And we see it now. So anyway, Ashley is so lame and thirsty and desperate. She is a real fucking bird bitch. So you are a 31-year-old who has learned nothing from being in a strip club about men and how low down they are. Don't you feel like women who have experienced that kind of life should be smarter and more keen after it, because they've seen a lot, they've done a lot, and so then they're, even though they're young, like 31 is still young, but they can tell, they can see it, and I just feel like she should be smarter. But maybe that's just me. Maybe y'all don't expect that. All right, so a basic chick when you meet one, okay? Ashley, you look like his mama, okay? Like, you would seem young if you said Julian was your son, we'd be like, oh, she must have had him young. But see, you trying to date him really looks like PE teacher at the school who wanted to fuck the student. I'm sorry. That's what it looks like to me. So it's uncomfortable. And then it's especially uncomfortable how stupid you are. You're not even like the manipulative older woman, okay? He is nobody to be checking for, especially like that, without a job or a place to live. What can he do for you? Nothing. And you know that. Because you said that. Stupid. So anyway, what time is checkout time? Because I have questions. How early were they up? Because now checkout time is like, what, 10? 11? Anyway, because Julian does not strike me as somebody who gets up early and prepared to go. It's a good thing. If it wasn't for production, I don't think he would have shown up at that hotel. If he didn't actually have to do this scene, because we know he probably got other chicks. It ain't just these two. These two wrote into this show. That's the part that kills me. All right, so if it wasn't for production, like I said, I don't think he would have shown up. She called him a Prince Charming with Gangsta. I said, you are definitely showing your non-black side. I don't know what you're mixed with. But yeah. So she's acting like she met a celebrity. Like, you know how it would be like if you walked, you know, been on the internet, you've been on blogs, you've been on Instagram, and you might, you know, be like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of so-and-so, and I saw them in person, and I was just, like if you went to the movie theater and the lights come up and you realize maybe an actor had been in there just trying to get a feel for how people were reacting to the movie the whole time, you would just be like in shock, but like, ooh, you know, like that's the way she was treating him, except for he's a jailbird who's barely out of jail. Okay? She's acting like she met a celebrity. Girl, and you are 31. That is no way to act. Even the famous people I've seen, I always keep it together. I haven't seen a lot. But when I did, like, I just refuse to be that person. Just something, my ego just won't let me do it. So I damn sure wouldn't be doing it for him. So it, like, I was, this is some tired ass Cincinnati hood ass shit. I have to say that. So she was like, he's sexier than Chris Brown. See, that's how I knew. That sealed the deal for me. I knew you was a dumb broad then. I judge anybody who still fucks with Chris Brown, streams his music, and every time he pops in and out in front of Karrueche like he did at Coachella the other week, or Rihanna when he popped up on her social media asking her, yeah, we need new music. Y'all get mad in the comments talking about, oh, they forgave him, they moved on, this, that, and the other. He's still doing it. Those are the only two women he's abused or beat up. And my thing with that is people can say, oh, people can move on. No, they can't. They can't until they have actually proven themselves to be people that did the work to become better. Chris Brown was never required by the music business, by the larger music consumption community, and it's not just black people that buy his stuff. He was never asked to basically do work. It was just kind of, let's get through this court order. His career did not take a dip the way it should have. Period. Because all it's done is empower him to contribute. He never paid any kind of social reparations or had some kind of retribution. Nothing like that. He's not sorry. Yeah, if you were Karrueche, you may smile at him at a festival, probably because you're nervous and scared of him. And women often do that when they're scared, because when, you know, sometimes when you act angry with men, they get real aggressive right back. So don't you know, miss me with the bullshit. But anyway, the conversation, the way he was on his phone and kind of talking down, it's kind of like when you haven't seen one of your cousins in a long time and they show up at the reunion, and the family reunion, and then they have all this other stuff going on, and they're looking at their phone. It takes y'all a second to kind of warm up to each other. Except for the difference is you and your cousin will warm up to each other while they get ready to tell you all their business about the baby mama, baby daddy. You know how that goes. Anyway, so he called her quirky and weird. See, this is where I have to stop you. Weird, yes. Okay? Quirky requires a level actually a very high level of intelligence, and it just makes you kind of socially awkward. She's not intelligent. Quirky doesn't count for her, okay? Weird, sure. He did his own chart in the confessional. He was like, Alexis is way up here. He was like, and Ashley is way down here. Alexis, he knows you're too good for him, honey. And I need you to start acting like you know that. And get the hell away from him. He is not worth it. Oh my gosh. He's so not worth it. He said Ashley is coming on way too strong. I said, you caught that? Yeah. And it's scary. Honestly, it was scary to me. Like, it was just like, girl, bad. You the one that's talking about y'all been off and on for a year, and you stopped talking to him for months at a time. This is not no real relationship. I had forgotten she got the tattoo. You are dumb. You are dumb for believing that. You are dumb for doing it. Your friends told you were dumb. They some birds too, but they smarter than you. They were smart enough to get on TV and make themselves look like a damn fool. So anyway, Alexis is calling him and he's not answering, saying he's at Tyler's, where else would I be? Basically gaslighting her through text messages. This is a perfect example of how men will do what the fuck they want to do, no matter what. No amount of watching them, no amount of putting their location on the phone, no amount, just like Kimberly and that other guy that got out of jail, that went back to jail, and then she had her sons around him, all this other stuff. They will do whatever they want. You can't make them do anything. Alexis, when do you go back to work, honey? Marvin K. Mooney, will you please go now? Okay, so you can tell your friend about it. Or please don't tell that old lady no more of your business after you were so unprofessional. But go back and tell your friend, and maybe she can tell you this is a waste of time and it's not worth it. But I think right now nobody's getting through to you because you don't even know what a real friend is. Because let me tell you something, Julian's sister is not your friend. The fact that she hooked y'all up and then took credit for it and never went to go see her own brother, girl, bye. Please. Anyway, she asked if he was nervous to meet her or whatever, and he was like, I'm chilling. First of all, we all know that kind of nonchalantness with any kind of man, and I wish I could say young men, but older men who even give that, it's just something is wrong with your social development. But he's 25, so I'm not going to judge him for that, and he's been in jail. But he was like, I'm chilling. I was like, I don't want to be bothered. In the politest way he knows how. Even though he was a dumbass for showing up there, if that's how he was going to act. Now, she said, we should vibe together. And he said, no, we can't do that. Yo, he straight up told her in no uncertain terms. Like, y'all remember the way Hazel E was with that, what was his name? He called himself the Hitmaker, but at that point, Stevie J had already called himself the Hitmaker or whatever. Berg or something. Remember how he was like very clear with her, but she could not receive it, primarily because he was still like sleeping with her and Masika, and was acting like her friend, and then was sleeping with him, all the other crazy shit. Anyway, he was clear with her that way. He was like, I just got out of prison, I'm trying to chill. I was like, he didn't say that to Alexis. He said that behind her back. He said that in production. He didn't say that to Alexis. He said that in interviews. He did not say that to Alexis. He's saying he doesn't want you. He is straight up not interested. And I'm sure he felt deceived because he was like, yeah, she does look a lot different. You can tell she was mad. Like, she was pissed off. She's saying this is not the guy she knows. I was like, you never knew him, you thirsty bird. And you are thirsty. That's why you went on that prison site. He's not family you checking up on. Ashley was like, are you sure you want to be with me? And she was like, are we in a relationship or not? I guess she thought she was going to back him in the corner. But girl, you backed yourself in the corner and played yourself. And we all saw it coming. He was like, he was clear. He didn't mince words. I'm actually surprised he can communicate this effectively. He was like, we are not in a relationship. Now, he did give her the wrong idea. But then again, Ashley, you act like you've been dating this man forever. And you only knew him through jail. So she goes crying and screaming out of the Holiday Inn room like there aren't other guests she may be disrupting since apparently checkout time hasn't come. I'd be damned if I leave a room I paid for. You can get the fuck out. I'd be damned if I embarrass myself crying near the Coca-Cola machine and everything else because you talking to me any old kind of way. And like a good freeloader, he's telling her he's about to eat the cake that she hasn't opened for her birthday, while you go running out in the hall. So the producer asked him if he was going to follow after her after she ran out the room. He said, nah, my legs hurt. First of all, you are young and agile, and we know in prison, if there's anything you did, it was exercise, okay? So that, all right, and you are a spring chicken. Okay, your legs are not hurting, darling. Ashley, he wouldn't have even come to see you or stayed this long if it wasn't for production. The first time you walked there, he would have walked out. I promise you. The only reason why he felt the need to even tell you he was going to cut you off was because of production, because you called into the show. Meanwhile, she's disturbing the whole community space where people come to get ice and drinks and stuff like that, right? While crying near the Coke machine about how he can't even swim. I said, bitch, when she said that, I was like, is she for real right now? Why is she mad that he can't swim? Is this not a question you asked him? I mean, but like, why are you so... I can't swim. I go to the beach on a regular basis. I just don't get far in the water. I don't know how to swim. I still put my feet in the water. Even when I was living in LA, I would go to Venice and I would just sometimes just try to clear my head and think. Like, you can go to the beach, okay, and not know how to swim. You could be in a pool and not know how to swim. You just stay in your lane. Anyway, I was just so done. I was like, is it that big of a deal? Ma'am, also, you have 2 kids at home and you are 31 and you are crying over a 25-year-old. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That is eons apart. That is eons, okay, apart. All right? So, you're crying over this 25-year-old whose name you got tattooed on you. That was your dumbass fault. Did you really believe he was going to do that? You weren't sending him money, nothing. You ain't Teenie and Rob. You ain't even Zaria and Troy. Okay? Like, you are not the main. You had to know that. And Ashley, I don't feel sorry for you. You too goddamn dumb. And you 6 years older than him. And, like, him and Alexis are at least closer in age. But she don't act so, like, something is wrong with you. Okay? Why are you knocking on your own hotel door and he's still there to open it? You have never met this man. Talking about how he's ruining your birthday. He didn't have to. Because you knew it was going to be bullshit. I know you knew it was going to be bullshit or you had enough experience because anybody who's watched this show knows that. Okay? I was like, you are a dumb bird. So, he, excuse me. He was like, she's built a fantasy in her head. She has. I hate to be agreeing with somebody I know is, like, has played her, but, like, yeah. Like, girl, I don't know what you were thinking. So she asked him if he was staying the night after all that crying. I said, wait. So she was like, so are you going to stay the night? Bitch, it's still morning. How long do you have this hotel room for? Who's watching your kids because they ain't your friends? And if it's your mama, she need to whoop your ass when she sees you. Anyway. So, I'm not gonna lie. I was acting like him when she asked me if he was staying the night. He was like, bruh, are you for real? And I was like the same way. I was like, did she really just ask him that? After being dramatic? So are you staying the night? Girl, it's still morning. No, he's not. No questions about his PO. She was like, you didn't do, excuse me. She was like, you didn't do anything for me. I didn't send you anything because I knew you had other bitches sending you stuff. Well, there we go. Ding, 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 ding. Darling, he has other chicks. You knew that. He said, exactly. So why are you acting like I owe you something? I said, oops. I guess he said, I don't even have to play that hard with somebody who didn't give me no money or nothing. He said, you never did anything for me. She basically said, ditto, you didn't do nothing for me either. He then follows up with one of the dumbest fucking things I have ever heard in my fucking life. I mean, like, and that's up there. Because y'all know, I teach school, so I've heard dumb things. Although the dumbest things that I've heard are usually from adults. But nevertheless, he said, quote, I'm in jail. I'm the catch. I'm sorry. We need to make sure we define this right. A catch is somebody who has it going on. Somebody who has money, a job, educated, drives a nice car, has something to offer, is funny, is pretty, is handsome, whatever. That's a catch. You are nothing close to a catch. So instead of her just leaving it, that's, you know how dumb you sound. Instead, she goes, do you know how dumb you sound? Because the catch usually gets killed and butchered. That's why I wanted to make sure we all have the same definition of a catch. We are not talking about fish, you dumb fuck. Like, first of all, at that point, I was like, both of y'all are dumb and have no business in society. They need to lock both of y'all up and throw away the key. Just so we don't spread any more stupidity. We got enough problems. We've had an entire government coup. Okay? We are not in a democracy or anything close to it anymore. We don't need this kind of shit. All right? So he said she's crazy as hell. She's talking about casting a spell on me. I was like, who are you, Nina Simone? No, ma'am. Okay, so she asked if there was another person. Ashley, you cannot be this dumb. But I think you are. And that's why I want you off my TV screen. So then he said yes. Once again, he did not mince words. Okay? She said, so why did you come here? He said, I thought I owed you that. She said, you just said you didn't owe me anything. I was like, facts. That is what he just said. She said, you're going to be right back in jail. You a piece of shit. You can't do anything for anybody. You can't even swim. I said, what? I mean, like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, why this swimming thing is a big deal. And then to follow up, after you said all this stuff to him, what if we go to the beach? Y'all ain't going nowhere. Like, nowhere. Like, ever. Okay? Because production has made him stay in there a bit too long for his check. Ashley, you dumb as fuck. Okay? I was like, I would say go home to your kids, but honestly, I think your kids need supervised parenting. By that, I mean, like, somebody should be supervising you as you parent, because something is wrong. I can't. You are a different level of stupid. This ain't the regular kind of dumb we see on this show. So then she leaves the hotel room again, the room you pay for, apparently indefinitely, because you asked him if he's going to spend the night at this hotel. I thought you just got it for your birthday. Anyway, he said he does feel bad for misleading her, but at the end of the day in jail, it's all entertainment. I said, yeah. It's jail talk. My thing is, Alexis, baby girl, I hope you're listening, okay? Because you're entertainment for him too. Then she's still doing this dramatic cry. I was like, what is wrong with this girl? Anybody who hangs around her has to be just as crazy. That's why I said her friends, they gotta be birds too. I said, chick, if you don't chill. This was a mess, but this was a good episode. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you for bearing with me with the first part of the video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.